Welcome to the story of the origins of the Basa people. Let's talk about history first. The Basak Dayak tribe is one of the Dayak tribal groups in East Borneo who live in the Bontang and Sangkulirang areas. According to the story, the Basa people are descendants of Chinese people who married with the Dayak Punan tribe. Although the Basa people are generally not yellow-skinned, their eyes remain slanted like the Chinese. So, the story of the origins of the Basa people is believed to be the beginning of the birth of the Basa people. Now, let us dive into the story. Once upon a time, on the Tepian Batu or Kutai Lama is Kalimantan, stood a kingdom called Kutai Kartanegara Kingdom. The kingdom was founded by Maharaja Ajibatara Agung Dewa Sakti, who rules from 1300 to 1325 AD. It is said the Maharaja loved to play cockfighting. He had a strong rooster named Ujung Perak Kemudi Besi. He owned a powerful rooster named Ujung Perak Kemudi Besi, which was undefeated in every match. Its fame even spread beyond the kingdom. As the champion, Rooster had defeated the rooster of kings from Java, Brunei, and other lands, even reaching the land of China.
Your Majesty, I bring news from the distant land of Kutai. It is said that the rooster owned by the king of Kutai is incredibly strong, capable of defeating all challengers.
A rooster that defeats all others? Are you certain this is true?
Yes, Your Majesty. I heard it from the people in town. The word has spread quickly. Everyone is talking about how strong the rooster is.
So, the king of Kutai believes his roosters is unbeatable. Well then, prepare my 15 royal roosters. They are the most powerful roosters in our entire kingdom. Also, prepare the ship and get the troops ready to depart immediately.
Right away, Your Majesty.
On the way to Kutai, the Chinese prince troops stopped by to visit several countries such as Kedah, Brunei, Sumatra, and Java. In every country he visited, the prince always took the time to beat one of his roosters, and the rooster always won.
My rooster will definitely be able to defeat the king of Kutai's rooster.
Yes, Your Majesty. I believe that your rooster is stronger than the rooster of the king of Kutai.
The Prince of China and his troop finally arrived in Kutai. The prince immediately went to Maharaja Ajibatara Agung Dewa Sakti and explained the purpose of his arrival.
I come from the land of China. I have come here to challenge my rooster against your majesty, famously powerful rooster.
Oh, Prince, you have come all the way from China just to have the rooster fight?
Indeed, your majesty, I have brought 15 of my finest roosters to compete against your majesty roosters.
Maharaja Kutai Kartanegara paused, striking his chin. At first, he hesitated. The Chinese prince had brought 15 roosters, and his own might be overwhelmed. However, confident in the power of Ujung Perak Kemudi Besi, he accepted the challenge.
Very well, Prince. I accept your challenge. Then, what about the rules and the bet?
Forgive me, Your Majesty. Each day, one of my rooster will fight yours. For every match, I bet 100 gold nugget, each the size of a kneecap and a diamond as large as a pigeon's egg.
Deal. We will begin the fight tomorrow.
The next day, many people come to witness the fight. Maharaja Kutai was seen sitting on his throne, and on the other side, Prince China was also sitting on his throne. After all the preparations were completed, the gong was sounded to signal the start of the match. Then, the two roosters began to fight. Long story short, the Chinese prince rooster lost, and Ujung Perak Kemudi Besi won the fight. Seeing that, the crowd cheered loudly.
Long live Ujung Perak Kemudi Besi! Long live Ujung Perak Kemudi Besi!
Then, the battle continued each day, with Ujung Perak Kemudi Besi defeating all 14 of its challengers. Now, down to his last rooster and out of beds, the prince found himself on the losing side of the Maharaja's challenge. Now, it was the Maharaja of Kutai who turned around to challenge the Prince of China. The prince found himself on the losing side of the Maharaja's challenge. Now, it was the Maharaja of Kutai who turned around to challenge the Prince of China.
Well, Prince, shall we continue this match?
Yes, Your Majesty. I'll bet my ship and everything on it. I ask Your Majesty to stake your entire kingdom, including every castle, every village, and every last coin in your treasure.
Hearing this request, the king of Kutai was stunned. The people were also stunned and anxious. Maharaja Kutai was still silent. His mind was filled with doubt. For him, the bet was too big. But if he did not accept the offer, he would feel ashamed. In the midst of his uncertainty, Ujung Perak Kemudi Besi suddenly crowed loudly while flapping its wings. It seems to be signaling his master to accept the offer. Seeing that, the king of Kutai understood his rooster's wish and accepted the bet.
Alright, Prince. I accept your offer. But, remember, don't break your promise. If one of us breaks the promise, he will be punished by Sang Hyang Dewata.
Then, the Chinese prince agreed to the deal. And long story short, his last rooster also lost to the king of Kutai. Then, the rooster of Prince China was killed. Seeing this, all the people of Kutai cheered and celebrated the victory of Ujung Perak Kemudi Besi. Then, Maharaja Kutai immediately ordered his elders to take all the sails and oars on the ship, so that Prince China and his troops would not escape. However, Maharaja Kutai was still merciful.
Okay, Prince. For tonight, I allow the prince and all of the prince's soldiers to sleep on that ship.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Prince China and his troops returned to the ship that already belonged to the king of Kutai. However, when it was night, Prince China and his troops, instead of resting, they held a meeting secretly so that they could escape.
How can we escape, Prince? Haven't our sail and oars been seized by the king of Kutai?
For a moment, the Chinese prince was silent. He was confused to find a way out. In the midst of this confusion, suddenly there was someone who provided a solution.
Pardon me, Prince. May I make a suggestion?
What is it?
Don't we still have torn sail in the warehouse? Why don't we sail with the sails together?
The prince immediately accepted the suggestion. He then ordered his sailors to sail the sail on a hill. He also instructed them to make several oars on that same hill. The next day, they finished sewing the torn part of the sail. According to legend, the hill was later named Mount Sun Sail. Likewise, the oars they had made were also completed.
Your Majesty, the Prince of China has betrayed us. His troops are taking off in a ship. We must hurry to catch up with them before they go far.
You don't need to go after him. That prince has broken his promise. You will see they will have a disaster in the middle of the sea.
After saying that, the king of Kutai Kartanegara then made an oath.
Let the sea surrounding the ship dry up. Let the prince of China's troops remain in that place for the rest of their lives.
Meanwhile, the prince of China's troops has entered Sangkulirangbai. Unexpectedly, a tornado suddenly came close to the ship, pulling the surrounding sea water upward. Panicking, they dropped anchor to avoid being dragged into the tornado. The place where they dropped anchor is now called Kampung Jangkar. However, the tornado continued to suck up the seawater until the sea became dry. The Chinese prince troops immediately got off the ship. A few moments after that, the ship turned into a stone. According to the story, Prince China and his sailors lived around the place. They then mingled with the local population, the Dayak Punan people, until marriage occurred. The descendants of the Chinese and the Dayak Punan tribe become known as the Orang Basak.